2003, I sat here in this very school. And like most of you, I was contemplating my next step. I knew I loved music. It was my first true passion. And I remember as a kid sitting in my room, listening to the Beatles and the Beach Boys with my headphones on, dissecting their intricate harmonies and fascinating musical arrangements. And these are the moments where I first realized that music truly moved me. I was playing saxophone and taking lessons for years, and I was thriving in my school wind symphonies and jazz bands, and I was playing with kids inside and outside of my community, and in my own band, writing original music. And it was important for me to meet new people and experience different types of music and grow. Well, my trajectory had me on course to becoming a professional musician. But it wasn't until after high school, when I entered the real world, that I truly started to question that path. So I spent a brief period at the University of Southern Maine in the music department. And I soon realized that traditional style music school just wasn't for me. And I needed to make a change because I was miserable. But at this point, I had been in and out of the recording studio with my band for the past couple years, and I had fallen in love with the process of creating and producing music in the studio. And I was especially fascinated by the job of the person who mixes the music. And that fascination slowly started to push away my desire to perform. But the music mixer is detailed and organized and can deal with whatever is thrown at them during the craziest, intense periods of creativity. And sometimes they're even treated like another member of the band. I mean, that's how important this person is. So much responsibility lies in their hands. But the most important part of the job is that you have to have golden ears. Well, listening had been instinctive in my life up until that point. And dealing with things like computers and pieces of gear and software, I mean, that was easy. It's a piece of cake. You can learn that stuff as you're growing up as a kid. And my music knowledge really only gave me an advantage. I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I knew that I had the tools, the skills in me, but I just did not have the tools. So I enlist into the Recording Arts Academy at Full Sail University in Florida. I packed my life up into a U-Haul and headed south. And at school, I was given the tools and the time to learn the basics, but I knew that as soon as I was out and on my own, that it was going to be up to me to keep this thing moving forward. And I wasn't interested in wasting any more time, and I surely didn't expect anyone to do the work for me. So luckily for me, I was able to complete the courses and graduate in 1 year, and I was very eager to get home and get to work. So after school, I get right back up to Maine, and I do exactly what I wanted to do. I got to work. As an assistant engineer at a local recording studio in town, I would find myself showing up early and staying all day to get my hands on any projects I could, really wrap myself around this experience. And I'd stay late and help out wherever I could. And, recording studios run strange hours. If I got a call and I'm home at 9 p.m. to come in immediately to work on a vocal recording or a mix session or anything like that, I would just drop everything. And I just said yes. Because I thought, if I say no, then they're just going to call someone else. And that's it. And there's no way I was going to let that happen. 9 p.m., 2 a.m., 8 a.m., didn't matter. Well, all of a sudden, those calls came more and more frequent. And I had gained the trust of the people that I was working with. And I had become known as reliable. And I was making people happy, and more importantly, they were impressed. I knew I was doing what I needed to do. And for the first time, really, I felt determined. And I thought, I've got to keep this up. At the studio, I worked with a man named Jim Begley. He's actually sitting right over there. I would find myself huddled under Jim's wing in those early days, 6 to 7 days and nights a week, trying to soak in anything I could and be a part of all of this, and however I could, wherever I could, whenever I could. And every day was just a brand new experience and a new adventure for us. And one day, Jim came in and he said, "Hey, I work at this local music venue in town. Do you want to come down tonight and help me set up the stage and mic up the bands and mix their music and have some fun?" Well, some of these people that we had been working with every day at the studio, a lot of the artists and musicians, were also frequent performers of this venue. So I was around familiar faces, which was really nice. And with my past performance history, the live stage was no stranger to me. So, do I want to come and help you, Jim? Yes. Well, that yes led to me having my own night a week mixing music at this venue. And then I had 2 nights. And then on nights that I wasn't even working, I would still just show up to be a known presence and a smiling face. Here I am yet again trying to help out wherever I could, just be there for people. And I was trying to connect with the people I was working with on stage and off, just networking constantly. And I was trying to build a reputation as someone who was not only a great music mixer, but who was a dependable person. I had a hunger to keep learning and to keep listening and to keep myself immersed in music as much as possible. So with every yes came yet another opportunity. But this time it was a wake-up call. But in my senior yearbook under ambition, I wrote to tour the world. I always loved how bands would pack up their gear and their personnel into their big vehicles and head off from city to city in search of an audience that's willing to listen. And I knew that that's where I needed to be. So fall of 2007 comes around, and I get a call from local singer-songwriter Pete Kilpatrick. I'd been working with Pete at the studio and this live venue, and so he knew my work. And he said, "Hey man, I'm about to go out on this tour opening for this band, and I need someone to come out to mix my music and travel with me from city to city and just have some fun. Can you swing it?" There wasn't a doubt in my mind. And then 2 days later, I get a call back from Pete saying that the headlining band on that same tour was also without a sound engineer, and would I want to fill in for them as well? Well, I can easily say that this next yes changed the course of my life forever. And off I went. First few years were a grind. Hard work isn't always elegant. Maybe 500 people here in Milwaukee. It was small clubs with dirty bathrooms and smell of cigarettes and old beer and no air conditioning, but it didn't matter. As long as there was a stage and an audience, my people were happy. We were cramming everyone and everything into a van and trailer, just finding overwhelming excitement in the unknown. And we were young and we were eager and cramming 8 to 10 people in a van and driving thousands of miles each month can get a bit crazy, trust me. But we were all willing to make the sacrifice, whatever it took. So then the shows get a little bit bigger, and the pressure starts to really turn up. And maybe 3,000 people here in Philadelphia, I could just feel this all growing around me. It was palpable. You could really feel it. At one point, I was working with a band called Owl City. And we had just done a holiday show at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And I remember after the show being back at the hotel with the band and the crew, and we're just reminiscing over the fresh memories of the night and just trying to really enjoy the experience. And all of a sudden, we get an email from the band's manager. And the manager was so elated with our performance that evening that he just included in the email a picture of what would be our very first tour bus. And an upgrade from the cramped van and having to drive ourselves and weird hours and all that. I mean, I was so incredibly proud of where my career was headed. And I thought, how much better could it get? But the opportunities kept coming, and I wasn't even remotely close to saying anything but yes. Up to 18,000 people in Hollywood at the Hollywood Bowl. Up to 50,000 people at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. To 90,000 people in Tel Aviv, Israel. And the travel even stepped up to an even larger scale at that point. The culmination of all of this hard work truly hit a high note for me just a couple years ago when I started working for pop singer Sia. A portion of the tour was a full month traveling around Europe in this luxury 757 jet. You can't see the inside, but just all to ourselves. But look, extravagance like this may be a sweet blessing, and it's fun to look at, and it's definitely fun to talk about, trust me. But make no mistake that this didn't happen overnight. Extravagance like this only increases the responsibilities. But I just want this to be further validation to you guys that you can truly get out of it what you put into it, right? To this day, I still get that nervous, anxious, excited feeling in my stomach before every show, much like I do right now. But it's the same feeling I get with 500 people around me or 100,000 people. But I'm not scared of that feeling because I've earned it. It's that feeling of knowing that I have worked tirelessly to get here. And it's that feeling of knowing that I followed my heart in order to pursue my dreams. And it's that feeling of knowing that I will never let anything get in the way of me reaching my fullest potential. Because I do what I do out of a place of love and not labor. And I urge you all to do the same. Because every opportunity you are faced with only increases your potential for success. So take pride in your work. And the next time that opportunity comes around, follow your heart, because you never know where that one yes could take you. Thank you very much.